History of the Yom Kippur War. Hoping to regain the territories they had lost during the Third Arab-Israeli War in 1967, Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack against Israel on October 6, 1973. The attack took place on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar. Because of this, Israel was caught off guard. Egyptian forces advanced deep into the Sinai Peninsula, while Syrian troops attacked the Golan Heights and pushed Israeli forces back from the area. Israel later launched a counteroffensive and regained control of the Golan Heights. On October 25, 1973, a ceasefire was finally reached, bringing the war to an end. What was the history behind the Yom Kippur War, and what were its consequences? Let us take a closer look. Israel's shocking victory in the Six-Day War of 1967 expanded its territory nearly fourfold. After losing the war, Egypt lost the Sinai Peninsula, an area of around 23,500 square miles, as well as the Gaza Strip. Jordan lost the West Bank and East Jerusalem, while Syria lost the strategically important Golan Heights. In 1970, Anwar el-Sadat became president of Egypt. Soon after taking office, he realized that Egypt's economy was in serious trouble and that the country would not be able to win another major war in the future under such conditions. Sadat wanted peace, stability, and the return of the Sinai Peninsula. However, Israel's overwhelming victory in 1967 deeply humiliated Egypt. As a result, Sadat began planning another attack on Israel, even though he knew success was uncertain. At the very least, he hoped the attack would convince Israel that peace with Egypt was necessary. In this sense, Egypt's attack on Israel was also a strategy to pressure Israel into negotiating peace. In 1972, Sadat expelled around 20,000 Soviet military advisors from Egypt and reopened diplomatic relations with Washington, D.C., one of Israel's most important allies. Egypt hoped the United States could later act as a mediator in future peace negotiations between Egypt and Israel. While Sadat was encouraging the United States to support peace talks, he was also secretly coordinating with Syria to prepare for war against Israel. The Yom Kippur War of October 1973. When the Fourth Arab-Israeli War began on October 6, 1973, many Israeli soldiers were away from their posts because the attack happened during Yom Kippur, the most sacred Jewish holiday. Arab forces achieved rapid early successes, advancing deep into Israeli territory with modern Soviet-supplied weapons. Shortly after the war began, Iraq joined the conflict, while Syria received strong support from Jordan. After several days of fighting, Israel mobilized its reserve forces and launched powerful counterattacks using large numbers of troops and heavy weapons. During Israel's counteroffensive, another major issue emerged. The United States, Israel's key ally, delayed sending heavy transport aircraft needed to deliver military supplies to Israel. This decision was made by U.S. President Richard Nixon. The delay was partly intended to avoid damaging America's newly improving relationship with Egypt and to prevent Egypt from suffering a complete military disaster at the hands of Israel. Eventually, the United Nations stepped in to mediate a ceasefire between Israel and Egypt, which officially took effect on October 25, 1973. Consequences of the Yom Kippur War. Although Israel ultimately achieved military success in the Yom Kippur War, the country suffered heavy losses, especially in terms of casualties. Many Israelis strongly criticized their government for failing to prepare adequately for a surprise attack by neighboring Arab states. In April 1974, Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir resigned from office. For Egypt, despite suffering major military losses, President Anwar Sadat gained widespread support from the Egyptian people and moved toward peace negotiations with Israel. In 1974, Egypt and Israel signed a disengagement agreement in the Sinai Peninsula. Under the agreement, Israel agreed to return a large part of Sinai to Egypt. In 1978, Sadat and Israeli Prime Minister Menachem Begin signed the Camp David peace accords. By 1982, Israel had fully returned the remaining Sinai territory to Egypt. For Syria, however, the Yom Kippur War became a major disaster. The unexpected ceasefire between Egypt and Israel left Syrian forces isolated on the battlefield. As a result, Israel regained full control of the Golan Heights and has continued to control the territory ever since, refusing to return it to Syria. Believing that Egypt had betrayed the Arab alliance by making peace with Israel, Syria and several other Arab countries voted in 1979 to expel Egypt from the Arab League.